Guys, welcome back to the channel. Got another episode. I'm talking about the good old times being a Generation X kid. Let's see, let me get the flag. Blue line, support the blue line. Alright. Back when I was in middle school, it was a summer, school was out. Once again, I tell you, all us kids, we didn't have internet, no cell phone, none of that crap. Didn't even have video games in, I don't believe. I don't think at that time we did. Me and my brothers, me, Ricky, Pat, and Benny, and one of Benny's little friends, the night before we had snuck and got some of Daddy's fishing poles and rigged them up and got them ready. So we knew of a place we were going to take us a walk. It was probably about 3 miles up the road. So we packed our little knapsack up and had snacks, cookies, and snuck some drinks and stuff and all of that. Had to sneak it by Mama, you know. Mom and Daddy got up and went to work that morning. My sister Sandra, she was ahead of the house, you know. She watched over the house. But us boys, we would get out on the bicycles and leave. So here we go. We're going to head out. So we lit off a Cumberland Road there in Fayetteville. Anybody familiar with that? There at the Cumberland Road Bridge, there's a railroad track that runs under the bridge. There was a railway. So we knew a trail back through the woods to get to the railroad track. And that's what we did. We get there, we get to the track, and we're walking. And see, we knew of a pond there. There was a place called Pure Later. It used to be a big factory and made auto parts and stuff. It was off of 301, but they owned a lot of stuff. And there was a train track that veered off that went behind it. There's a little retention pond back there. Nobody knew about it. Now, me and my brother found out about it, but it wasn't fenced in, so it really wasn't. It wasn't really. We didn't know if it was private property or not because it was in an open field. So we got there. We set our chairs up and fishing. Man, we had a good old time fishing. It was hot that day. It was hot in the summer. Seems like when you're young, you don't pay the heat no attention like you do when you get. I can't even stand it now. It's pouring down rain out there as we speak, as I'm making this video. But it was good and hot. We got us a good bucket of fish, brim, some bass. We're gonna go home and clean them. So we had a good day. It was getting about that time we need to start heading in. So we go to heading in. Walking down the railroad track. Right before we get to the trail, freight train's coming. Big old freight train. And it's all hot and dry that day, man. I mean, I don't believe it had rained a long time. You know, it hadn't rained in a week. It was one of them hot, dry summers, everything. Just hot, humid. The train was coming by. My brother Ricky, he noticed, boy, said, y'all get back. And I said, what are you talking about? And there was a wheel stuck on one of the box cars. It was stuck and it was sparking. Man, it was slinging sparks out there every which way. Next thing you know, it sparked up some of them. The fields all beside the railroad track were just like dry weeds. It sparked it, started flaming up. Brother looked at me and said, we ain't going through that path now, fellas. No. He said, let's head to Cumberland Road. Boy, we were running. So. And that, as the wind's blowing, them flames just trains just going on like ain't nothing happening, but that field's just. We get to Cumberland Road. We hear the fire alarm going off. I reckon somebody called the fire department. We didn't have cell phones in this back then. But it was unbelievable how fast that fire spread. Man, you know that fire lasted almost a week before they put it out. The Cumberland Road Fire Department went down there. They had a bunch of other fire departments for a brush fire caused by the darn train. Man, it was scary. If we would have took that trail, we'd have been caught in that fire. That's why, to this day, my brother, he said, just go to Cumberland Road. He said, we're not going. He said, that fire's going, because it was a whole forest of pine trees that trail went through. A lot of people would ride their mini bikes through there and their 3-wheelers. They didn't really have 4-wheelers then. They had Yamaha dirt bikes, and they would ride that trail. And that's the trail we walked to come up back behind the house where we lived at. If we'd have took that trail, we'd have got burned up in that darn fire, buddy, because that fire lasted a whole week. But the stuff we did when we were little, I mean, we were trying to do things not to get in trouble, to stay out of trouble. We were just fishing, not bothering nobody. To give us something to do, you had to have something to do. If you weren't doing that, you were out actually getting in trouble. So, but I remember that day like it was yesterday. That train started that darn fire, and that fire lasted a week. Everything was so foggy and smoky around. It burned all that wood line, come up behind the house, that whole wood line behind the house. And this is like 3 miles away from our house. That's how much it burned. Man, fire can get away from you, but, you know, caused by the train. So, trains would come through there day in and day out, not a problem. Because it come from Parkland and went through Hope Mills and then down through Fayetteville. Because we've walked that track, man. We got on that track and walked it all the way to Hope Mills. Went to the lake, Bullseye. We got time to go home. Got back on the track and walked down and hit the trail. That's things we did when we were little, man. And kids nowadays, they don't know nothing about all that stuff. But anyway, man, that's a Generation X story, man. You know, if you like what you see here, hit like and subscribe. I'll come up with some more. So as we say in Rob Co, man, shine, yeah. See y'all later, man. Have a good one.